Hello and welcome to Bamm Raw TV. Now, today we're going to address a podcast video that was done where a guy from Penitentiary was on Terrence Gangster William show, and he called in and he was talking about the incident in which New Orleans and Shreveport were stabbing each other, and which I was mentioned in that situation. And as they say, I accept the alley oop from Terrence Gangster William, and I'll put a little more clarification on it. It's so much more to the story, but I'll just kind of clarify some things. I'll end up telling the full story later on in my in my uh, in my TV program, and I'll end up telling the whole story later on. But right now, I'll just address some little detailed issues because it is a long story. It got so many compartments that build into it, and each one of them is, I mean, they're as interesting as exciting as just the stabbing part. But in that, the guy he mentioned that it was 400 of us there, and that was about accurate. It was 400 Louisiana guys, probably 200 something from New Orleans, probably 25 to 30 from Shreveport, and others from Monroe and all through the state, from the tip to the top of the boot. And we were down there, and one of the things I addressed that was, we should treat people right in our own backyard because we got the majority here, but we can't be abusing individuals because they only got 5 or 6 people because they have the privilege of being in their own back. We have the privilege of being in our own backyard where we can receive visits. We can do a lot of other things. Well, we didn't have that luxury. When I started off, I was shipped all the way to USP Florence, where me, Meatball, and Big Bouncy, and a few more other homeboys, about 6 of us down there. And every other car, every other mount or group of people, they was like 160, 70 deep, but yet and still we held our own and made them respect us. And then, we gathered our respect. So we felt like a dude should be respected as a man. I don't care if it's one or it's 100. You respect him based on who he is, not how many of them it is. And so I kind of relate that, and I relate some other different things going on. But in that situation, I end up going to the hole because they found 3 knives in in the cell. When they found 3 knives, it's a big story with that too. When they found 3 knives in the cell, naturally because I had just came from Supermax Marion, it's deemed that if you get caught with a 100 series shot or 200 series shot, you automatically go within a year. You automatically go back to a Supermax if you came from a Supermax. And coming from Supermax, I was already on the red card, which means that where other inmates only have to be seen at count time, I had to go report to the nearest officer every hour to so that they would have eyes on me and know that I'm not somewhere involved in a violent incident or whatever. So that was one of the things. You be on that card for about 6 months to a year when you come back when you come from a Supermax penitentiary. So in that course of that time, they took me to the hole for the 3 knives. They took me and my cellie both to the hole for the knives. And back there, my cellie told the people that, hey, I had just got there. I only had been there a few months, and I wasn't, I didn't know the knife was in the cell and everything. So they let me out. When they let me out, the incident had occurred. Well, the incident that he speak of with Scoob, where guys had I guess they tried to brand Scoob a move because he was I don't know about him being a big time man and had all this that the guy insinuated he had, but he's always been a smart businessman. And the insinuation is that I helped that I was there on School's behalf because he was the money man or whatever on the compound. Don't fit my it don't fit my MO because I can make my own money, get my own money when I was in that life. My thing and my people looked out for me based on a lot of other different things, people from all over. But Scoob, the history of me and Scoob is his big brother is one of my tightest friends. I used to eat at Scoob mom house. Scoob mom them drove me back to reform school when I had juvenile life, me and his brother. You know what I'm saying? So I've been very close to that family. And Scoob is not just a individual to me that was getting some money, or he just a dude that I met. Scoob is always had been, he's a businessman. That's who he is. He's not the kind of guy that's gonna run up on somebody and stab you over a few dollars that you owe him. He'll just cut you loose and let you hang yourself. And some people didn't like that because he give a lot of dudes opportunities. They abused the opportunity, and he cut them out, wouldn't give them nothing else. But moving on from that story there, moving on from that situation there, they try to bring Scuba move. As the dudes say, the incident happened. One guy get hit in the mouth. The other guy got his teeth knocked off going on. By the end, so shortly after that, they let me out the hole. When they let me out the hole, I mean, I'm not a dude much for politicking. I'm just a dude. I do what I think is right. I do it and I live and die with it. So anyway, when they get out, and I'm like, okay, well, somebody need to explain to me how would this homeboys would do this here to another homeboy, like that. So I mean, how's we living down here? So most of my homeboys was, and actually a lot of my homeboys were reluctant, especially neutral homeboys, and they was reluctant to really tell us what had happened and who had did what and going on. So I actually had to talk to the homeboys from different parts of the South who knew me from being afar, because when we far, when we away like that in other areas where the South is not that, where we're not that, New York, Louisiana is not that deep, we have to come together under the South, and all the South will hang together in order for us to be enough people to actually even be functional. It may be 6 from Tennessee, 6 from Florida, 6 from here, 6 from there, and going on. So we all come together, and we just be hanging together as South homeboys because we can relate to each other. So Bloated would be the guy that dude mentioned was I guess he was the shot caller for Miami on that yard, because a guy position changes depending on where he go. So he was a shot caller for it on that yard, and when he knew about the situation and everything, because we hung together when we was at other compound as the South, we had already had a semi-alliance. So when he come to me, he asked me, he said, man, I hear about what's going on like that. He said, man, it's like 200 and something. It's 200 something New Orleans dudes, man. If Shreveport and New Orleans finna get into it, man. He said, man, I've been, you roll with me. I've been there with you, you've been there for me, man. I'm gonna be here for you. He said, man, he said, I can't let you go get no 25 of y'all go get no 200 people. I told him, I said, listen, man, I appreciate that, but I don't want no involvement from no other group, because I don't want the dudes who we getting into it with to take it out of context and make it, and make it look like we done went and got aid from somebody else to aid us with our own homeboy. And I assured him, I told him, you've seen my work before, you've been around me. I said, once I get to touching the first one, get to dance with the first and the second one, then you can guarantee they gonna get out of my way. I said, I can pretty much assure you that. He said, well, man, I hear what you're saying. I respect what you're saying, Bamm. He said, but man, I'm just letting you know, I'm gonna have my people, I'm gonna be out on the yard. If they start getting the best of you, cause he know I don't like it. He said, they start getting the best of y'all, man. He said, I'm jumping in. You just gonna have to be mad at me, man. He said, I ain't gonna let it happen, bro. He said, you're a good dude. You stand on right and going on. Since you've been here, you've been trying to get everything right, get dudes respecting you. He said, since you've been here, you done stopped more lockdowns than I seen, period. So I told him, I said, okay, I appreciate it, I respect it, because I would do the same thing in your situation. I said, but trust me, I'm not gonna need you. So as the situation went on, as the situation went on, the guys, they was sending their little demands, and I was saying, hey, listen, man, I tell you what, I'm saying, hey, man, I don't. They brought all this property, and I didn't know what, they brought all this property to Marcel and telling me, hey, well, you get all this property, you get his stamps, and you get this and that, and since he ain't coming back out going on, I told him basically, I don't want his stuff. That's his. He let him get out here and get his own stuff. And like that, he coming back out to get his stuff. If he ain't coming back out to get his stuff, then all us gone, cause we shutting it down, man. I said, it ain't gonna happen. Not while I'm here. I said, so we can either try to all get along in our own backyard, enjoy our families, enjoy what's going on here, or we all gone. Simple as that, man. Ain't no ifs, buts, ain't about it. So after making that statement, they went back and they continued to politic, and the individuals, it was 3 or 4 credit dope fiend individuals from that part that was influencing young little soldiers that was coming there to keep that New Orleans Shreveport thing going, like in the state and going on, instead of understanding that this the Fed, they had never been out their own backyard, so they didn't understand that we got a more cohesiveness in the Fed. So they had the guys side with them basically just because they was from New Orleans, not because it was rational in what they were saying. So as they go on, but I had a few New Orleans dudes that they big homies who was gangsters and legends had been with me in other places. So they seen the pictures and stuff I had from their homies, and they read the back of the pictures where their homies was saying, "Hey man, listen here, from the tip to the top of the boot, man, I roll with you anytime, bro. You were there for me, bro." So when they seen this here, those guys used to come to me under cover of night, as we say, and I look out for them on cigarettes. We talk, we have a good conversation. I tell them something about their legends. So those guys here, we had like a little connection. So they come back to me and they tell me that, hey, listen,